That's not the. Well, hello, and welcome to my Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And that is exactly what we're talking about tonight. So angry. So angry. But we are also going to be talking about the first step of our trip to Kentucky. But I think we're going to start off by drinking some Palmetto Moonshine. And Ben's going to tell us a little bit more about it. But this is one of the very few moonshines on the market when I've had it that is actually 65% alcohol. Not some shitty washed down 35-40%. It at least has some, it has some punch or at least some weight to it. If it's moonshine, yeah, it should at least be that much. Just saying. All right, Ben, let's talk about Palmetto. Where is it? And I know, have you been there?
I have been there, actually, yes. And a little more prep time, and I probably could have sent you some pictures, but that's all good. So
Shocker.
They are... They're here in my town, Anderson, South Carolina. They were one of the first distilleries to open up after South Carolina passed their Craft Distilling Act, which opened the doorway for small distilleries here in the state. I think that passed around 2009, somewhere right in there. They opened very shortly thereafter. But their focus is making moonshine type products, corn whiskey. Part of their goal is to try to preserve some of the moonshining history of the area, which especially about an hour up into the mountains, you've got some really, actually very famous regions around here. One called the Dark Corner has a long history of moonshining in the state. They also produce some aged whiskeys. They have what they call their Palmetto whiskey, and that one they're aging in new French oak. So it's a different take on what your typical bourbon-like or corn whiskey is, but they got a bunch of flavored products, watermelon and peach and things like that. Interesting little place, nice little distillery. They're using a still, I think they're up to, is it 100-gallon size? I'm gonna have to double check that, but their still is based off the design that they claim from a local moonshiner in the still that he ran. So.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. And what type are we? Are we doing any special flavors, or is just like
this is just a straight what they call their the bootlegger proof? So it's the higher 65%, 130 proof corn whiskey.
As best you could get is to straight off the still.
Right.
Okay, that's good. I kind of wanted to start with this because on our trip when we were in Kentucky, we got to try a lot of new make, more than what I was kind of expecting at a lot of places. And I was almost starting. There's a lot more flavor in that than what you're told about in the industry. In my mind, like some of that new make actually has some pretty good punch. And on the nose, I was starting to get something like that here.
I think too, Patrick. Part of that is dealing with craft distillers where they're using heirloom grains that are going to provide that flavor that's coming through right up front, versus some of your big industrial distillers. And you just don't get quite the full flavor in the new make that you do with some of the special stuff. So I'm starting to get quite a palate for it, honestly, and enjoying it. So
I get a really soft, like light smoked caramel in the background. Some nice like fruit flavors and a little
like
floral.
A stewed pear and some potpourri.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting all the floral notes. There's 2 or 3 things going on that are.
There's floral and there's some fruit.
It's not heavy corn. It's not even just a normal corn sweetness, but like you get the normal sweet corn, not sweet corn, but sweet corn smell that you get from new make. That's also it's just a little harsh.
I get a little bit of
it's a little buttery.
I get a little bit of that green corn husk note in here. I think that's adding to a bit of the floral pieces. Maybe a little bit of honeysuckle.
I like adding to it. It's like the background of the field, kind of.
Right. And there's having a hard time nailing down the fruit. Almost a white grape kind of note to it.
It's fairly oily too.
I like what you're getting because I was thinking like this, like a pear, but almost it's like lighter almost.
Yeah, it's light. It's a little bit bright.
All right. So far, so good. I'm excited about this. And there's a touch of as I'm coming in, there's like I said, a dark note, but like brown sugar,
Oh,
and a little
what the
plummy.
hell is that? That does not match the nose for me.
Yeah, it takes a totally different time or turn.
This is really flavorful for just a moonshine. You know, and it has what I like. It has that numbing feeling that you should get from a moonshine, but that's not what my tongue is flavored on. It's like reaching for all the flavors that are almost pulling around the outside. Like I'm really salivating from this.
I get that white grape, and I feel like a little bit of a plum note.
There's something a little meaty for me though. It's almost like this flavor that's just almost like if you put together a little board with some cheese and some, cheese and some fruit like grapes and had a little bit of sausage on there or something. There's kind of a meaty oiliness to it.
Oh, I want to say, hey to Eli, Spencer. I see that Chrissy's out there. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you peeling away from your Friday evening to watch a little bit of a review on this pretty tasty new make.
There's a little savory umami note going on in there too. That to me, maybe that's some of that meatiness that you're talking about. For me, it's like an umami would be the best way I would describe it.
Weird thought, like a titch of like eel sauce. I'm sorry, I was just thinking sushi, and you were talking about that. I got unagi, and I'm like that little bit of eel sauce on top.
I think
it's like
because it's got like this
Friday night show. They go hand in hand.
It's got this really like salty aftertaste, which I think is given like that little bit of like a meatiness to it.
That's what she said, but it's just a little bit of a.
It's starting.
It's Friday night, guys.
That's right. This reminds me of
the show.
Ed Asner, but not Ed Asner from Mary Tyler Moore. Ed Asner from Lou Grant.
Well, very good then.
An older, hairier, sweaty whiskey.
Okay, but I don't know. All in all, for this one, I'm pretty impressed by it. To be honest,
yeah.
I mean, even after the stuff we had all this past weekend, I really enjoy this. Like, are they putting this in barrels yet? Are they? Come on,
no,
please.
this stays.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I say they're not. I'm not 100%. Well, no, they're not, because this is corn whiskey. They don't reveal much of their mash bill, but the stuff that they're aging in the French oak has at least 21% rye in it. That's all they'll tell you. So,
Okay.
If this is not in at least a 25-gallon barrel or bigger, there's something wrong. Sorry, I mean, just from the way this is starting, I can't see how this is gonna go bad in a barrel.
this I think it would age well. The flavors I'm getting in here, I feel like they're taking, at least the notes I'm picking up. Normally in a white whiskey, you're getting a really thin, or they're doing a narrow cut on this. I feel like there's a little bit of a wider cut here, and that's giving some of that earthy, some of that funky notes going on there. I could be totally wrong on that, but that's just my
I get you.
impression I'm getting off of that. But it's enjoyable. I like this.
And It has a really nice range, and even now on the second or third drink,
Right.
it's still the middle of my tongue has a nice little numbing feeling, and like somewhere else in my mouth for a second. I'm drinking moonshine. I do want it to, for me, I want it to burn a little bit, not like crazy amounts. And this isn't even like a lot. It just is almost like the remnants afterwards is as high as it gets.
That's
It's
an
not
easy drinking new make.
Yeah, for 65%, this is a very dangerous new make.
Yeah.
Man, just putting some cherries or something else in it could just knock people down for a night.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Now that we're going to switch over to something in a minute. But we did say we were going to talk about our trip to Kentucky. So I'm going to let you guys talk for a minute because you got there before me and got to go do fun stuff that I did not get to go do.
Yep.
I may even prompt you at points, but because I put up some pictures. So go ahead. Why don't you talk about your problem with time zones, Mike?
It was just one time zone. I made the mistake. This is your PSA. If you're using Waze or something else to estimate your arrival time at a location, it does not compensate for changing time zones. And all was well. Everything seemed to be on track. I was actually even ahead of schedule. And then I crossed the river. And as soon as the clock changed, I was like, damn it. and I had to get a hold of our house owner that we were going to see and let him know that I was an idiot. So, but he already knew that.
Dad.
But we still arrived a little bit later than what we thought. But yes, I was time challenged. Technology let me down.
I think Mike and I were a bit of in a race to see who could get there first, hitting the road and everything else. And so I thought I was losing that competition. So I'm going to be there at 12, and I'm like, damn it, I'm going to be there at 12:30. So, and then I show up, and his car's not there. So, victory is mine.
It was what, 30, 40 minutes behind. So it wasn't too bad.
That's it. Not bad at all. No.
Yeah.
All right.
It wasn't too bad.
So you guys get together. Where are you headed after that?
Well, first we had to say hello to our absolutely most gracious and wonderful host, Kevin Rose.
Kevin Rose,
who put us up at the house, and it was
Hold on.
we barely even got stuff out of the car. I think it's because let's just get enough out. We'll get the rest later. Let's get going.
That's Kevin planning to somehow steal the whiskey at Three Boys.
how many barrels can he hoist out of there? Yeah,
I think it was cases. I didn't know if it was good times or
he already had one case under his shirt. That's why his shirt's hanging out in the front. He was going for a couple more, I think.
Yep.
Kevin was great, and he was getting a hold of Christy, our other most gracious host, so we can hook up for lunch on the way to Hartfield, which we were very much looking forward to going to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Christy picked the lunch place. Had a really good cocktail. Pretty good food. I was very impressed with just the simple sandwich that I had the right kind of pesto, not too much. Like a lot of things, if people throw an ingredient in there, they throw too much of one in there. This was a wonderful balance. It was great.
Yeah.
It was
too much pesto is disgusting. I'm sorry. That's why I stay away from it in general.
So no pesto, no black
no licorice, no anise.
Wow.
No rye.
Hey, I did.
For those just give us a new tasting note to call out. Did you get the pesto on this one, Ben?
Yeah, exactly. It's got a nice note of pine nut in there with that pesto.
That's
a weird grassy combination. Yeah, I did. For those, I can't wait to say it. At one point, I did curse out and wish to burn every plant and piece of anise on the planet to the ground. And I stand by my statement then and now. So you guys are on your way out to Hartfield. and
Yep.
you're there to see who.
Miss Kelly, my new best friend.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, he's muted.
Who's muted?
You were muted. Your mouth was moving and nothing was coming out.
Well, that's great.
Uh-oh.
There's so many things I could say.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
So-
Miss Kelly was great, and Hartfield was everything that I expected it to be and more. It's
So
a sweet building,
Yeah.
cool layout within the building.
Some really cool history there. And
Yeah.
I kind of love I know there's a certain term specifically used in moonshining as a wildcatter, which is kind of more derogatory, but there's this whole wildcat feel. I mean, there's this raw, rugged feel. Everything's not so spit shined and polished. And that's what I love about that place. It's just got this, we're just, I don't say winging it, but man, they're just doing some really cool stuff. And the historical setup of the building, the new steel that they're installing, and then just Kelly and her personality and her take on and approach to things. It's a unique stop, and it's really fun. And she's making just, again, some killer, fantastic whiskeys.
Oh.
So
Absolutely.
okay, before you go any further, I want to address something that everyone watching this and everyone going forward should remember if you go to Hartfield. Now, when you go see Kelly, you should always show up with some type of offering of Coors Light. At least a can, a 6-pack, a 12-pack. If you are the man that Mike is, what did you bring?
30.
30-pack. And did you kneel down in front of her to present it to her?
Oh yeah, I presented it to the Queen. Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Yes. So if you are going to the distillery there and you see this, make sure you bring a gift and tell her that it's from my whiskey den, and that you saw it from here.
Yeah. Say the boys sent me.
Yeah.
right.
She'll know exactly what it means.
Yes.
So now on with your tour. I just hopefully that will stick, because I would giggle if every time she goes out for a tour, people are giving her beer.
They're all showing up. They have to buy another
be great.
fridge to have it all in there.
That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Keep
All right.
keep her stocked up so she can make good whiskeys.
Please do. Yeah.
All right.
She
Yeah.
took us back in the barrel room, and we pulled
sorry.
one sample out. That was later in there, and she was pitching yeast.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was later. I wasn't there,
Yeah.
so I have my pictures all
I
up.
know. Yeah, you weren't there.
Right.
But yeah, she gave us a sample of a barrel that had been tasted before by Christy and Kevin, and I can't remember what the time span was between the first and the second time that they tried it, but there was one where nobody was happy with it, and then it turned into something amazing in a what I'll say a short period of time, but really
Right.
it wasn't that long.
Yeah,
that was
'cause she's
that
not
was
aging.
the first treat. Yeah,
She's not
This
aging
first
very
treat.
long, so
yeah.
yep. And
we
then
could
we got to
describe
sample.
to you what it tasted like, but it would just make you mad.
Yeah, and then we got to sample her next batch that she's put together,
Yeah.
Oh.
bottling, and it's just, to me, after sampling what we already have of hers, it's like, okay, this is going to a whole nother level of
Yeah.
just deliciousness.
So would this be in this room?
Yes, that would be
Is
the
it-
palace.
The palace.
Yes.
Maybe the Coors Light might get you in the palace.
Right,
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't think so. There's no promises in that.
right.
And and her whiskeys are 100 proof, and this sample was like, I don't know what, 114 or something.
Yeah.
But it would be really hard to proof it down. I would. I mean, it was fabulous. And that's not blowing any smoke or anything. That whiskey was super good.
God, too many things to get stuff on and off when you want to do bring up too many different layers here. But that was Christy with Kelly as well. Now, just because I have some other pictures, I'm going to pull you back into what Mike was talking about back here. I saw it. What are you doing? What is she doing here? And what part of the tour are you on?
This wasn't really a tour. This was, I need to do this before we can leave. Because she was taking us to a place to go get a snack and a drink and take her dog for a walk. So she had some work to do. So I was
Okay,
Ben was taking. It was like an Inception thing because Ben was recording me while I was recording her.
Right. So she's just pitching some yeast into a wash she just had made there. So that's what we got to see, and the reaction was pretty quick. We got to taste a little bit of that too. But was that on the second floor or third floor? That second floor?
I think it was the second floor.
She's got okay. We got to ride a pretty cool old elevator.
Really?
Yeah.
Down. Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet. Now,
nice freight elevator.
is this upstairs? Is this in the same level as what you were just in, or is this
No,
lower
that's
level?
back downstairs.
That's back downstairs.
Yeah.
So the kitchen's upstairs. That would make sense because you want it
Right.
to all go down. So,
Yeah,
so are these the old? Are these the old stills?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
now
they're-
they'll be kind of the R&D stills.
And for those of you that don't know this, I think Mike will be very upset with you. Is that true?
No, but you should look it up. It's just a fact. I mean, most everyone knows who Elvira is, but not everyone knows that Elvira was a blatant ripoff of Vampira. But they basically ditched her, and she ended up dying penniless, while Elvira turned into something else. So it's just unfair, man.
I just know you have such strong feelings about it.
Well, I mean, it was just kind of a cool thing. I mean, Vampira was
That's
really,
true.
I mean, she was really cool, and she was all ready for a comeback and just got royally screwed. So it's just too bad. I'm not going to get on soapbox here.
Come on, man, just a little bit. I'll get you off of it. What are we looking at here?
That's the new one, Livonia.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So-
pretty crazy. It's unique. Oops, hot.
Get that back up here.
All right,
Yep.
brought it back up.
So
That's
that's
the
an
one
old,
Christy almost fell in, right?
That's right.
It was
We
a
were going to
plan.
lock her up in there for the night, but that's an old dairy tank that they're converting to a still.
That's
And-
what I kind of saw.
Yeah, it's just so unique. I mean, the shape to be oblong like that.
I'm so intrigued, and I wish I would have been there because I didn't get this speech. Kelly, you owe me one. Or
You would have fit in there.
Oh yeah.
well, I'm sure. I thought
Wait
I thought Christy was going to hurt herself if she fell in. Like, I don't know if she's getting out.
I think that was the point for not getting in, because there was not a good way out.
Right.
You never
I did
know.
offer to dip her in like that, but
Fun dip style.
yeah, fun dip.
Oh, there's. I can't believe people who haven't had fun dip yet.
Yeah.
Now
Or
there's
free
one.
based it.
You haven't lived until you've had that.
Yeah.
This is
You put it on a fork, your special fork,
Mm-hmm.
and you cook it.
I don't know if I can allow that, but this is probably something. Did you guys get to taste of this? Some of the first.
No, that's
Oh, you
not
didn't get to
bad.
taste any of that.
No, that's
No.
what just on display there. So, they're the only active distillery right now in Bourbon County, Kentucky. And so that's the first spirit they distilled there. You can see the date on the bottle, which is day before my birthday, actually, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so that's another unique piece about going to Hartfield. Just they're in Bourbon County. They're the only distillery active there right now. It's a historical old building, and they're just taking a unique approach to things. And I think she's got Kelly as a distiller. She's a really fun personality and a great person, but I think she's got a brilliant mind, very creative when it comes to distilling as well, and her approach. So just keep watching. You're going to hear lots from her down the road.
My thing finally caught up, so I'm gonna hit a couple things that were a little bit back.
Okay.
Because she said she told me to swing from the cooling coils. doesn't sound like the greatest idea. And Spencer's right. What an interesting still. I seriously have to say that is one of the most unique stills I have seen.
Yep.
I'm gonna say almost ever. It's up there in like one of my top at least 5. Just for being uniquely different. Like seeing the 3-chamber still, when you see it, and you're like, that is different. You know, like this is just.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's a different look at surface area on the top. Maybe I don't know. I'm wondering how that all plays into it actually getting out, or how it worked, almost like double or tripling it. I don't know. I think I didn't get to talk on that, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm honestly that whole the shape of that still, how unique that is. I'm really curious to see how that's going to affect the spirit and how that's coming out. So.
All right. Sorry, too many other things. Let me pull that down. Yeah, Eli only snorted fun dip. So it's like the pixie sticks, you know,
Right.
Like that happened.
Yeah. Right? They come with their own straw.
Right. Yeah. But all bourbon comes from Bourbon County.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Only bourbon can be made in Bourbon County.
Yep.
Kentucky.
Bourbon County, Canada.
Right. Crown Royal Bourbon Mash, man. It's the real deal.
All right. So you guys what else did you do there, or did you start going to dinner then? I mean, what happened when you got done with this tour? Or crashing the end of her day?
We shared a cocktail and drinks, little snack with her, and the owner, Andrew, came and joined us for a short bit. Walked the dog, got to see the little town there. Really nice. Came back, we went to dinner. Kevin had us reservations at Silver Dollar, which is a famous little bourbon bar, and they were having their first grand reopening after closing for COVID. So we got to crash that for the first night. It's the gimp coming through the door, Patrick.
And then
I'm concerned.
I'm concerned for you.
Then on a whim after dinner, it was like, well, there's still more time in the night.
What do we do?
Should we go to Bourbon's Bistro?
Sure, why not?
You know what? I don't have pictures from this. I didn't even to get them put on right now.
I took some from the first night, but because there wasn't that many people there.
Because I was flying in on a plane as these guys were talking to the bartender Mike and closing the place down. Is that a fair discussion? What did you all have there? And I heard rave reviews about Mike. What is it about Mike there that was fantastic?
The guy, he could carry on a conversation, and bounce from person to person, carrying on different conversations while he's working. But when he's trying to ask you what you want, it's like, we'll come up with something. And it's like, I'm going to give you something you haven't had before. Yep. And that was fun to do that. And he was genuinely disappointed if you said you'd already had something.
Yeah.
But no, he's just a really nice guy. He was a good bartender, good conversationalist.
Tremendous personality. Yeah. Tremendous personality, and his knowledge and skill there. And, you so often, at least for me, bar experiences around here are pretty average. The guy typically behind there, there's some great people, but they generally just don't know whiskey to a high level.
I got to experience.
This guy really knew it, and it's like all you had to say. He's like, so what do you want? What do you like? And I was like, you know what? I like to be challenged. I like different things, so challenge me with something. And he came back with a 4-grain wheated whiskey out of Ohio that was fantastic. It was kind of like the highlight of the night for me on that end. Had never had it before, and I'm going to be hunting that one down. So that was, great guy.
He really, like you said, he knew it when he you asked a question about which direction and how you wanted to do it, he paid attention to what you had done earlier in the night as well too.
Right.
You know, like he remembered your last 2 drinks and like you did this and this, and you're like, no, I want to do this. And he's like, okay, you know, like that one step ahead of where it is. Plus, like you said, when you said I want to be challenged, he knew where to go for certain things without probably blowing people's doors off. You know, like,
Yeah.
Here's a Lafroig, you know, like it's challenging in a different direction, but like challenging, good and unique.
Right.
He seemed to really know palates, to be honest. I mean, he played the individual's palates.
Mm-hmm. Very
Yeah.
well.
I don't know. I just thought it was great. It's not often that you have a very good bartender, and he was really damn good. So if you get to see him, talk to Mike.
Yes. Yeah. Go to Bourbon's Bistro. Talk to Mike. And then,
Let's get it out of the way.
Then we
Oh, yeah,
got the
keep
call
talking.
that Pat had landed.
Yeah, I did.
We
And I
stayed
had-
awake.
I had no idea that these guys were out doing that because I had made them promise to go when we were there the next night. So I'm getting off the plane, and Kevin texts me. It's like he got through to me first. He's like, "Are you getting off the plane?" I'm like, "Yeah, right now. I just landed." Well, we'll pick you up. I'm like, "You don't have to do that. I can get an Uber. It's like midnight." And all of a sudden, no, we're on our way. Okay. So I'm finally make it out of the airport, and I'm sitting there waiting. I look down at my phone, and there's pictures of all this food from Bourbon's Bistro and them drinking with Mike and cocktails. And I'm like, you fucking sons of bitches. I was pissed for a minute. I'm like, oh, I was like, you couldn't wait 24 hours. 24 hours. It's ridiculous. I was upset. But then you picked me up, and we drove back to Bushwood Estates, where Kevin lives, out in Bushwood. And we stayed the night. Actually, we got there, and we had a few with Buzzard's Roost and
Mhm.
Yeah.
a kind of iconoclast from Spirits of French Lick. And these two puffed on cigars till about 1:30, 2 in the morning.
Sure.
I think is
Yeah.
about what we did.
It was late.
That sounds approximate.
It's approximate. Well, it's like Christy has a whole nother link. She's like, join it.
Oh, you know,
She like,
Probably-
started
multiple
She's got a new
burner
take on
accounts.
burner accounts.
Yeah.
So once we got done with that, we all went to bed, got up, we ate the next morning, and then it was off to Three Boys.
Yep.
Which is where we are going to go next on one of our tastings. We had one that Mike, did you send this one? Or did
Kevin
Ben
did.
send it? Kevin did. Kevin Rose, you crazy bastard. He sent us this. I haven't even touched it yet. It's the Three Boys Distillery, straight from the barrel, 6 to 7 year old, 121 proof whiskey. Let's see here. And then also when we were there, we got a chance to barrel some of our own barrels, our bottles.
Yeah.
And Ben and I each got one, and Mike got both of them from the barrels. But let's
Yep.
start with this right here, because I've never tasted this one yet, and it's before we did anything, so I want to. That will be. It's cool putting on your own label and stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
a lot of
then
fun.
until you put on the wrong one, and Greg jumps on you about it being the wrong label.
You know what's not
Christy.
cool?
He's
You know
like,
what's not cool?
I'm going to show the TTV. Watch this.
What's not cool is the people in front of you trying to fill their own bottle, not waiting for the thief to fill. So it's dropping in a quarter ounce at a time, number one. Number two,
Wait.
spilling precious whiskey
Right.
from a single
Yes.
barrel selection all
Right.
down the side of the barrel like a
That's
bunch of
not
old
them.
men in a nursing home trying to stand at a urinal, and it's all over the barrel. Like a lot of really good whiskey that's just running down the side, and you're just staring at him like, what the hell is your problem? You put the whiskey in the bottle, not down the side. It was so irritating. I am not the only one who was getting irritated by that.
Oh,
but I was also,
No.
I'm behind him waiting to go, and I'm like, your bottle would have been full had you got it in the bottle.
Kevin
Yes,
says it's
Kevin.
filled at least 100
At
milliliters.
least.
Oh, geez. They could
At
have just
least.
about half filled another bottle with what
The
they
one dude
said.
was slopping all over
God,
the place.
it was
Okay, but the
awful.
thing was, is he was turning around telling someone else how to do it while he was missing. You
Yeah,
know?
he's talking
Like-
with somebody. Yeah, jackass. Anyway,
Yeah, so I don't know. Sorry, all those interruptions. I was going to say, I got some goofy texts. Might be the people from behind the wall, so I have to pay attention every now and then.
the Gimp's keepers.
Yeah, well, we got to keep an eye on it.
He's
so,
getting antsy.
so after
He hadn't been out in a while.
yeah, we've been away.
Yeah.
Throw him some little smoky so he calms down.
I might. So we're talking about Three Boys. This is the This is part of not the distillery. This is like the welcome center.
Welcome
kind of,
center. There you go.
is what you want to call it. They do actually have some barrels in there that you can barrel your own from there or sample from, and all the other, gift things that gift shop things that you can get. Okay, no.
Now, you want to talk about the rolling hills of Kentucky? That place was
Yeah.
like quintessential rolling hills because behind that building, it rolls and drops way down, and that's where the distillery is sitting at.
So I just wanted to give people a little bit of the feel for the place. Now let's get back into reviewing this first one that we did not have anything to taste with that day. Okay. There's like a nice brown sugar note to this one. A little bit of pepper.
You see Richard's comment.
No, I didn't. I gotta go back. Sorry.
Floor share.
Flush.
That's the Gimp share. That's the Gimp share.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's
What?
getting irritated.
What is? All right. I feel like the thing on here is a little bit slower, so the janitor's shit. I would take that. If I knew that dude was around, I would put like a little bucket underneath the barrel just to catch it. What are you doing? I'm like, just getting a free bottle.
Yeah. Following you around, you sloppy bastard.
Mike is passionate about this.
And there's
He was holding me up, too, on top of that. On top of wasting all that delicious, delicious whiskey, of which will never be repeated.
Right.
I'm having to wait.
I think you're not going to be able to fill your own bottle. You get like halfway through and have to stop.
They should put his picture up. Not welcome. Not allowed to fill bottles.
All right, here. Okay, what are you guys getting on the nose?
Well, I have a different one because, quite honestly, I don't have that sample with me at the moment. So
What the hell?
you guys go for it.
I get a little sassafras.
Yeah, like a root beer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like I was gonna say like a spice note, but the sassafras is exactly right.
I love getting that note in a whiskey. Now I'm jealous.
I can't. Well, Kevin would know. Was this out of number 4?
I think so. No, this was. Oh, no, number 4 was a whole different one. This was one that. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me bring. Is he out there?
He's
out in the
yeah,
world.
he's out there somewhere.
Hold on here. Give me a second. We might be able to fix this. All right, it should be the same link. We'll see here. We'll see if we can get Kevin in because he'd actually know for sure. But I don't know. It's root beer spicy, a little bit mid-level caramel. Not a lot of vanilla extract, but some vanilla.
Almost like a flat cola, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to look a flat cherry cola a little bit. I'm getting a little older flavor. Sorry, I got my glasses. I can't get in there. Yeah, like a flat. There's a flat soda, flat sassafras. A little, like I said, I got a little bit of a cherry note in it. I don't know. I think I'm gonna like this.
You get a little marzipan in there.
Mm-mm.
Just have a
Have
good
you
cream-
had it? I don't.
Small batch marzipan.
Yeah, have a good creamy mouthfeel.
I've never. I don't know if I've ever had it.
No.
So
Mm.
no, they don't sell it in Wisconsin. They just don't come across that.
It's a damn shame.
Oh, thank you for stopping in, Mark. If you missed his show, we had it this past Monday. We talked to him and all the awards he's won in the first year, even after dumping his first 5,000 liters of whiskey and using it for sanitizer. So stop back and watch that episode. Thanks for stopping in again, Mark. We appreciate it. Adam,
Mark.
thanks for stopping in. He said he was having some Booker's pigskin. Nice. I like that.
That sounds like a good Friday night pour, especially after you've had a hell of a week.
Mm-hmm. Just at the point where it's starting to get warm out. Oh, hold on. I guess Canadians know what marzipan is.
Yeah.
It-
And he spells it with an O-U-R, so you know it's fancy.
Is that a French thing? Wait, what?
What?
I don't know. Okay, on the no. Stop it, damn it. Hey Neil, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. It's a nice shocker.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's a little bit bolder in the spice, and the sassafras on the middle and the beginning. Wow, that really holds across the middle of my tongue. There's like a flavor barrier. It's nice and rich, has some good oils to it, and it's sticking around a long time. It almost doesn't even feel like it's out of my mouth yet, like let alone going down my throat. It's been like 30 seconds. What are you thinking, Mike?
It doesn't drink like 121 proof, I'll tell you that.
Nope, another dangerous whiskey here. So that's
it's as you say, it's not dense, but it's still coating. Yeah, it hits the tongue and just kind of works its way back, and it's kind of like like a cola with the carbonation. It's effervescent, and kind of takes over, even though it's kind of thin. It's it's like that without the rainbow unicorn sparkles.
Rainbow unicorn sparkles.
Yeah.
Where on earth would you get rainbow unicorn sparkles?
Oh, all over Kentucky.
I don't know what's going on in the chat, but I like it.
That's right, Carlo. Who needs spell check?
All right. So this is actually, I wish I would have had this before we went, because going out there, I didn't really have anything of them before. I didn't get to taste that. It got lost in the table of samples before we left and wanting to try all sorts of stuff. So Kevin graciously drives around. He was like driving Miss Daisy for all of us. He was like personal chauffeur. It was pretty fucking amazing. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Thanks you, Kevin. We get out there on time, and Christy's running late. So we're hanging out outside the distillery.
Wait.
What?
There's a red dot on your chest right now, Patrick. Better get down.
What?
Yep.
You're calling Christy out. It's coming, man.
What?
That's right.
I'm just saying she was
The
running
assassin.
late. She was running late that day. That's all. And it wasn't bad, because inside the distillery there was
A bachelor party.
a bachelor party. And apparently they at, I don't know, what is like 10 in the morning, had already been imbibing to the point where it was like, and I quote, herding cats.
Yes.
It was time for them to go.
hear that's okay. I'm not afraid. Except the fact that it keeps coming from different accounts. That's the part that scares the shit out of me.
When you're a trained assassin, you keep good burner accounts going.
That's right.
Always shifting around.
All right, so
It's the way of the gun.
It is. So finally, he gets this tour group out and another group out, and then over the hills, you hear just this, and down comes this little black car tearing through the hills, and just Parks gets there, and Christy finally pops out, and we started our tour at Three Boys, led by our tour guide Hunter Coffey. And to be honest, the dog, I forget the dog's name, but it was an excellent dog, came out to greet us, and a great little ambassador, especially since there's a lot of cat love in distilleries. I like the dog. I like the dog love here.
Distillery dogs are way better than distillery cats.
Mm-hmm.
Remy, there we go. Thank you, Christy.
Yeah.
Remy is a great dog. Weimaraner, gorgeous, just a friendly dog. And gave Patrick a good, how's your grandfather?
Yeah.
we were on the other side of like these yellow curtains that were kind of see-through into a different part of the distillery, and we were hanging out, and she came through and goosed me, thinking that like no one was there, just on her usual route, man. And we had a little talk.
I think she was as traumatized as you were. But...
Yeah, well, I wasn't prepared. I mean, it was just a little disturbing because I could see everyone else and I didn't know what had happened.
It was just disturbing when you kept calling her back.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. That's not true. There's no issue with the dog. All right. So Hunter was actually very gracious, and it was cool because some places they understand that you kind of already have a basic gist of what's going on, and you get to kind of go on to a second level of a tour with people because they're not explaining the basics. And you could tell he was thankful for that, but probably because none of us were trying to climb in his tanks or anything, which I think may have been happening beforehand.
Yeah, we didn't have to get the usual spill, but it was nice. No. He break down the corn varietals that he's using and the grains, where he's getting that from. The corn they're growing locally. It is a farm, and then they're getting their rye. Is the rye coming from Michigan and the malt from Wisconsin? I think.
Mm-hmm. That is accurate.
But using some Amanda Palmer and what was the other two? One was a
orange corn. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, I hadn't heard of that before, and I was like, ooh, I want to know what that. I'm interested to see if that's playing, and so far I like it quite a bit. But we liked Palmer. Sorry,
and Hunter's coming on the show in a few weeks.
Yep, Hunter's coming on May 10th. Yeah. We're going to be talking to him then.
Right.
But what I have up here is part of the mashing. They right now they're using the Cypress, which is kind of like a classic older technique. They are going to be upgrading at some point because to clean one tank takes him 4.5 hours,
and a lot of chemicals.
Right.
Yeah. So it's something that's pretty interesting. But if you're going to be trying to upscale a little bit, does take some extra hands, but it wastes quite a bit of your time if what you're doing is cleaning tanks for a day and a half or 2 days.
Yeah.
Just to get moving on the next thing. So
plus it was how those tanks drained too was not. They didn't drain as.
It didn't come
thoroughly.
Out the bottom.
Yeah. So he said they were going to line them with stainless. They're already ordered, so it's going to have new drains and everything.
So they're going to keep the outside frame, but just line it with stainless, and I think hopefully come out the bottom, because he was saying they had like, I don't know, maybe like 5 gallons or so every time at the bottom that they just couldn't get to.
Oh,
I agree with
Licorice.
I agree with Robert Licorice, though. I do love those fermenters. I like that open top old style washback that you see a lot in Scotland, and Todd Leopold's doing the same thing.
Yeah,
with that style. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Robert, please
But-
check your messages.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple things.
Yeah, there's John.
Hey, there's John too. There's
Ahoy,
John.
boy!
Yeah. All right, here. Sorry,
Hey,
my
I jumped right in. I think I was
Yeah.
the first one to grab the thief.
Yeah. I got
And-
behind the group.
Yeah, you did. You got stuck. There was a wedding couple that joined us because once we got done, we got over to where they had some tasting barrels, and you could go through 1 through 4 of them, and then if you wanted to, you could hand barrel it. So this is just Hunter explaining some stuff to me. Well, everyone's around the table, but that's where the picture came from.
Yeah,
And-
stories like blowing crock pots through the ceiling and
That's right.
Destroying the
And the-
stove
and
at
the
same
stove.
time.
and the stove. Yeah,
Yeah.
And having to go buy a new stove.
right.
But it was
Not
pretty
doing-
interesting. They had the 4 barrels that they had us or let us taste through right out of the barrel. What the first 2 were identical mash bill, identical barrel manufacturer, but tasted extremely different than each other to each other. The third one was the same mash bill, I believe, as the other 2, but a different barrel manufacturer. And then number 4 was completely different altogether. So when
Right.
we got to choose, you can, and they were, I believe, the first ones to do barrel your own whiskey bottle. They just
Yes.
weren't advertising it.
Mhm.
I couldn't decide between 1 and 4 because 1 was just a very solid, nice, bold bourbon, but not, wasn't trying to knock you over or anything. It was just had pretty good, intense flavors to it. And of course, admittedly, we'd sampled 4 of those, and then 2 other bottles got brought out to sample, and then trying to make a decision. But number 1 was a very solid bourbon. Number 4 was a pretty good, I thought, a good end of the night dessert bourbon. It was very sweet. So I had a hard time choosing, so I just decided to get both.
Damn you.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can technically tell the story on air, John, but
Yeah, I think that's about as much information as we need to reveal. But
but
just think about it, buddy.
we're
You're,
gonna be
you're in
It was a-
distilling.
we're
it was a
working
pressure
John
cooker.
we're working John into coming on the show here in a couple of weeks as well too. So that'll be a really interesting one. I don't want to drop too much about that, but it'll be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and
But
if I said crock pot, I misspoke. It was a pressure cooker.
It was a
Yeah,
pressure
So
cooker.
yeah, so that maybe that makes sense. More sense for you,
Maybe just a little bit.
just a wee bit.
So this is Kevin doing barrel your own before everyone got there. I think Kevin, Christy, and I figured out which barrels we wanted almost right away and just got them done.
Yeah.
And poor Mike got stuck behind everyone. Now
Notice the minimal spillage around that barrel.
yeah, that's true. Look right in there.
It's always good to have minimal spillage.
That's right.
Now
There was a tour, not the people behind, but there was another tour that came through. That was the one that little bulldog and son of a bitch got in front of me. and spilled all over the place.
Mike's going to need some inner healing after this trip and his experience with.
I mourned that whiskey running down the side of the barrel. It was
Right.
unfair. That was unfair treatment.
So this is Greg, and he's also there, and he was helping everyone with bottles and getting stuff signed and everything set up, and helping with this part of the tasting.
Right.
And you guys got barrel 1. I only got 4. So why don't you guys pour barrel 1 and let's talk about what was barrel 1 from our tasting.
Okay.
Barrel 1, for me, the decision was between barrel 1 and 4. Barrel 1 offered a little bit more of a baking spice note to it versus 4, and that's kind of what sold me on that. I feel like it had a little bit more complexity overall. But
I agree with that. It was just a very solid, well-rounded, strong bourbon that
yeah,
it would be really hard to say no to. There was just something about 4 that, this is how you start your night, and this is how you're going to finish it.
right.
I'm letting you guys go on 1. Now I really had a hard time between these two too. I ended up going with 4 just because I thought it was a little silkier. I think, and like Mike said, a little more desserty. It had a little different flavor profile, but one was really good.
Mhm.
As far as the bourbon, I think these weren't they more like 6, 7 year
So
olds,
Yeah.
yeah,
6, 7 year old. Um, so I thought pretty nicely complex for that time frame. You know, um, not overdone at this point yet, and and all the flavors were pretty married together. Though some of them were stronger
Yeah.
than the others. But I'll let you finish up on one. Sorry about that.
I get a little bit of a hit of rye on the top note, and then diving in, it's like corn and husks just starting to grill, just starting to heat up and get some of that aroma coming off of it. A lot of burnt brown sugar and caramel. There's some nice spice, a little cinnamon, a little cardamom. That's just coming off the nose. I get a little bit of a honey and black tea note going there.
Break another bottle, Mike?
No, I that's how you find if you want to find out if you have a cut on your finger, spill whiskey on it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that tea, when I went back in there, I was getting that tea pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's good to see
A
you,
little
Robert.
bit of fruit going in there too. We're trying to decide if it's more of an apple note or a peach note I'm picking up here, but
Carlo,
I get a little bit of apple and caramel.
it's a 6 to 7 year old.
Like an apple
is
pie.
where this was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just a solid whiskey.
Yeah.
And then, just meeting Hunter and listening to him talk, he's not some guy who's making craft whiskey. He seems to have a reverence for the religion of making whiskey and for what it entails, and not half-assing it and making it a good spirit.
And he's working and changing stuff all the time. He's like, "What do you think is the best?" He's like, "I don't know. We're still trying some other stuff." And he's like, he's proud of what he's doing, but he clearly thinks that there's room for improvement, or there's something else out there to pull into it. You can tell he still has that extra drive for hitting the next level, which I would be extremely happy if I had a distillery and it was putting this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be like, good job. We can go home. We should do well in the market for as long as we're there, as long as we're around, like we've done our job.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think he's really
great whiskey.
Yeah. And I think he is. I think he's earnest about really trying to earn his way in, to make his own way with this. Very determined, I think very hardworking in what he does. So, I mean, hell, he's got an RV parked right out back. He's pretty much staying there at the distillery because of what they're doing, what they're working. So, they're putting your life into it.
He goes for a lot of different palates, not just whiskey and stuff, which between his house and everywhere else he's at, it sounded like maybe 600 to 800 bottles, just trying flavors and different stuff. But he's also a beer guy. This is when
that beer was wicked good.
Yeah, yes, I started talking to him about being from Wisconsin, and Greg's talking about the different barrels, and all of a sudden Hunter and I just walk off to go get some beer. But he had a whole fridge full, and apparently they have like beer night where they get together and try all sorts of different types. So he has a really open palate for trying to find different flavors. Like he's still hunting. He's finding what he likes. Not that he doesn't know, but I mean, like, he's always searching for the next like kind of combination to twist in with what he's doing. And just right behind his right shoulder is the wall where I was standing, and I got goosed by the dog. Came up right from behind.
Now, you might want to introduce the people here to the two guys standing back there doing some bottling.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be having a conversation with them soon as well, hopefully.
Yes, these are the guys from Good Times.
The Good Times Girls.
The Good Times Girls. I ended up, I thought they bought in steak at Three Boys. Am I not correct in that? I could be in it. now you guys got me confused. I don't know. They were doing work there. I thought they were affiliated in some way, shape, or form. My apologies if it's not. I've had a few drinks of your 60% whiskey. It's starting to affect me.
Yeah.
The moonshine really kind of jumped on me. I'm just going to be honest.
And look, it's because of that profile that you keep coming back to it and you keep wanting to sip it. And then next thing you know, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good times, a unique way to do sourcing. Find a good solid base, and then let's finish it in things that you would not normally finish in, or you wouldn't think to finish in. Right. And the stuff that we sampled from them, super good.
Yeah, I didn't have enough
really
pictures
good.
from them.
Yeah. I think all of it is a single barrel release, private labeling. We pick a good barrel. Let's find something fun to finish it in, and we'll sell the barrel out.
Yep.
Yeah,
and they're doing a good job with it.
Yeah, they have some, and whoever they're working with does some really kick-ass labels.
Yes.
There's some hysterical ones. They released one that was like the State Puff Marshmallow Man was on it because it had this like toasted marshmallow feel to it. I don't know. They have a pretty good sense of humor. They seemed like fun guys. Like it was like getting to do like 2 tours in one. Like we didn't even know that was going to happen, and here we were for another like 30-40 minutes talking to them about everything they're doing and doing really interesting stuff. Wasn't one a vanilla extract barrel?
Yes. And Jim Beam Vanilla ought to go crawl in a hole and die after tasting something like that. And
I was hesitant. I was scared of it. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really
right.
good. And they were saying like a lot of times it might only be like 2 months might be a max in some of these finishing barrels because of the way the flavors hit it
hits quick
so much. Yeah. And it's like, so like 2 months is max. It could even be weeks. So it's fun, and they're putting out some really, really fun stuff. So we can't wait to get them on because it was, like I said, an extra tour. It was great. And
yes, it was a nice detour. Yeah, and whiskey finished in a honey barrel that didn't taste like sticky honey. That was whiskey, honey. And it's like, and it was very nice. It was you, and as they said, they wanted you to drink the whiskey and then have a little honey finish to it, not a honey flavored whiskey. Mm-hmm. It was well done.
Yeah, it made you want to have like a mixed drink with it. Like all of these ones are fantastic, and I think they hit the note that I like them by themselves, but for it to be a mixed drink or on the level of a mixed drink, drop an ice cube in it. That's it. You don't need to go all fancy and do anything else. It has a nice enough unique flavor. If you wanted to get that mixed drink feel, just throw an ice cube in it and start sipping it as it's going down that way. I mean, maybe pour 3 fingers of it and then throw an ice cube in it. But whatever you got to do, or however the day was that day, you make it as big as you need it to be. Well, we've all had that when you come home. Like, what's going on? You're over there just, it's fine. And all of a sudden, like, she notices that it's up to here, and you're just like,
just don't even use the glass.
How was it today? It was great. Today was great. So after meeting them is when we started that whole barreling thing, when poor Mike got stuck behind.
You can see the joy in his face.
Yeah,
and not those. It wasn't that guy. He was waiting too.
Yeah,
and it wasn't her but she was the one being talked to by that sorry slack-jawed spilling son of a bitch. So maybe she was the cause of the spillage, other than his dumbassery.
She could have been. Yeah, he was telling her how to use it, and she did a much better job. But so if you get a chance to do this, which is a great way to do it, I think it's worth the extra couple bucks if you're gonna get a bottle that way to have like a real nice experience to it.
Yeah.
But pay attention to what you're doing, man.
Yes.
It's not tough. We'll have a class. See, here it is. There's a hole in the end of the thief. You put your thumb over it. When you put it in the hole, put your thumb over it. Or wait for. Sorry, damn it. Wait for a little bit. Wait. Thumb over the top after you wait a minute. Sorry, Ben. Both. And you pull it out and pour it in a bottle. It's not difficult. If you go slow, it's not a big deal. But
then don't about whiskey thieves here.
I will pay good money to see someone do that in front of Mike at the next fucking thing we go to.
I will start beat you with the whiskey thief,
slapping it around the outside like he's making a Picasso painting.
Oh, I will beat somebody with a whiskey thief if they do
that.
Yes, Kevin. Yes, he said put your thumb in the hole.
No, that's. We're gonna have to have a talk about that. She shouldn't be. Yeah. She shouldn't be threatening you like that. I want to make sure you're not getting abused. All right. So after we got done talking to Hunter at that point, when we were finished up, you got to pick your own label, whether it was the rye or the bourbon.
If it was the right label or the wrong label.
The wrong label.
Technically, yeah. Christy apparently did do it, and she got stopped. But you know what? I did not. I have an illegal TTB unapproved labeling because I put the accidental wrong label on the back. I think it's a rye, and I said bourbon. So
put that away, man. Put that away.
You could never resell that bottle.
Never. But I don't have anything written on it either. I did do the extra mile at that point. But I went with number 4. And I'm going to pour that one now because I thought that one was just a really nice mouthfeel to it. It was creamy. You can go right out the back door there onto a field. It just has some really nice rolling hills. It has a good scenery. It has a good vibe. It's not a huge distillery, but if you were building one, I like the way it's set up. Rather than being all tight and low, it has a really high ceiling at some points. And it allows them to be, I think, keep it kind of small and uniform for what they're doing. But with their upgrades, they're going to be able to put out a decent amount of whiskey here in a little bit. So yeah. I'm excited about what they're doing, and we're happy to see what else Hunter's going to be putting out. Mm.
Oh, yeah. There was, butterscotch candy. That number 4.
I don't know if we really gave a great detailed one, Kevin. They might have rambled off into nowhere.
There's only one rambler on this show.
That's totally inaccurate. That is totally inaccurate. It's really changed since the bottling. It may have.
I agree. I actually agree, Kevin. I think it has, because there was a little bit of a varnish note for me when we first tried it there, and that has mostly gone or disappeared from that, which some people like it, some people don't. I think it's a nice craft note, but
this almost has like a little bit of a Christmassy gingerbread, but I'm getting also like lavender, a floral note, some brown sugar. Oh,
yeah.
I can't get all the floral notes in this. Are very interesting.
Yeah, this would be pretty kick-ass at Christmas time.
A baked oatmeal and gingerbread cookie. A little bit of sugar.
Gingerbread cookie would be good. Yeah.
But then, like at the very end, rather than most things, like right as I'm pulling away at the end of inhaling, it has this like light fruity note that goes up the very top part of my nose. Possibly violet. It could be Christy. Now I'm going to have to do that. I was having a hard enough time just getting foods to taste for things to make decisions. Like, associations. Now I'm going to be going to the florist and sticking my head in all the things. What are you doing? Nothing?
Sir, you need to leave.
I'm going to buy the $5.95 one over here. You've been sniffing all of them. You have pollen all over your nose. Oh, and we'll get into that to a later episode of review. We'll get into that in a later episode.
Please put your pants back on, sir.
Step away from the cooler. Yeah, well, in a later episode, when we go over more of our Kentucky trip, we will talk about their Indiana's coked out bats. Their white-nosed coked out bats. It's disturbing, along with their other animals that lurk in the night. It's like a fucking X-Files episode going there. It's ridiculous. We'll get to that in another episode, though. So back to this. I'm gonna get into the tasting. It has a very silky, velvety mouthfeel. This feels so much
Creamy.
richer in age than what you would expect. Not over oaked. Starting to get a little bit heavier on the finish. I'm gonna go back. This is actually really interesting.
And this was, and I believe this one, because I know it's had a lower corn than the corn percentage than the other one, but this had, I thought he said the caramel malt.
We were talking about how much you should actually be putting in it. I think that's what I'm really. I love the caramel malt in a lot of stuff. Wow, yeah, this is just like this is a nice Christmassy thing. It gives.
Yeah, I think it's just a good end of the night one. It's like, I'm good, I'm done. Got a little sweetness, got some proof, a lot of flavor. Going to bed.
I think if I was putting this up against other stuff, in Kentucky, I would be putting it up against stuff that I think is like 14-year-old stuff. 14, 15, 16. The nice mouthfeel and density that has with taste and flavor without it being overpowering on you is really nice. Like it has that neat density of a much older whiskey. Yeah.
I can still taste it after having water too.
Super oily. Hold on here. I don't know if I can. No, it's not. But it is holding on. And it's, yeah, super oily. I dig this just because it's, I don't know. It's very Christmassy and I love the extras to it. It has an incredible hug. Like it's totally viscous on this. So after we got done at Three Boys and pouring all our own whiskey, we decided to go eat at a restaurant, which I think will be unnamed after a really fast trip to the place. It took them a long time to find our food or make it. And it was good. Mine was good. Was your guys' good?
Yeah, it was good.
The food was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
It's nice to finally get our food then. So we kind of...
They're caught between Woodford and Castle and Key, so I think they're getting a lot of just to give them a little excuse there. They are getting a lot of traffic coming through. But.
I will. They were getting ran over, but we found a tower, and whatever you're supposed to do when you find a tower,
you piss off of it.
You piss
off
of it.
Yeah.
So we accomplished that goal as well too. Check that off for the box, Kentucky. We had to put that one in there. I think after that. We'll hold up. Maybe we want to hold up for the next time, or really, we just drove back into town, and we ended up having dinner at Bourbon's Bistro for my first time, their second time because they could not wait at all.
Well, that Friday night dinner was planned.
I skipped a whole step because we are going to stop there because the next thing we did involves us going to the Old Crow Distillery site. And I figured we should drink our Old Crow whiskey, which Ben graciously bought the samples and sent some out to some winners out there. So we're going to set that up for probably one of the next Friday night streams where we'll sample this. You guys go get some new Old Crow, or if you can by chance have some older Old Crow,
Yep.
get ready to drink it with us that night, and we'll be sharing what we all think about it with the tasting, and then we'll be talking about what we saw and did at sometimes across the street because of some laws, sometimes on the distillery grounds of Old Crow, and also at Glenn's Creek that is actually in one of the Old Crow buildings on the site. That was a really fantastic twist to the trip, and I hold that as something really, really fun, and I'm happy that I got to do that day. It was one of those things where I mentioned lunch being long. It turned into a happy accident. Damn it! It was.
Yeah.
I think everyone was happy that happened.
That was a serendipitous moment.
Very, very
I
true.
would say.
Hey, Emily Chambers, good to see you out there.
Yeah.
I was just saying, AJ, it's good to see you. How have you been, buddy? I haven't gotten a chance to talk to everyone the way we should with bouncing around and everything lately. So we'll be setting that up maybe for this Friday or the next coming one where we do the Old Crow, and we'll knock out a little bit of that because that was a really special part of the trip. I really didn't see that turning into what it did, and I'm happy it did. On a lot of different reasons. I mean, get to meet All-American and former Indiana Pacer. It's making whiskey. It's pretty fucking sweet. Plus, when you think Mike is tall, when you look at the pictures on Facebook next to me, fucking Mike looks small next to this guy.
Right.
And it was awesome. And it was
I was
awesome.
a midget.
I crush you.
Yeah. It was great. Mike saying he was a midget. I must have been a fucking brownie from fucking Willow, like little fucking pixie looking
Let's
thing.
go this way. No, this way.
Stupid Daikini.
I
So
love that movie.
it's the one of the ones I hope that they save for Val Kilmer's like whenever he passes on and has his little day, I'm like, I definitely want the scenes from Willow in there.
Yeah,
Like-
that and Top Secret.
Fair enough.
Man. This Three Boys Barrel One, it's getting a lovely cola and oak note going on now.
Yeah.
It's been sitting in the glass.
This is turning a little more sassafras now. That this one's been sitting out number 4.
Mm.
And the wood's a little more pungent. The flavors for what you're getting out of that, I didn't get to taste it when it was younger, but I feel like this would be a wonderful one to show people's progression in craft whiskey. Like this is what it was at 4 or 6, and finally you're getting to the stuff that's getting to be 6, 7, 8-ish, like we're talking about, and it's some pretty damn incredible stuff.
Yeah,
especially for its age. So we can't wait to have Hunter Coffey on. Now, coming up this Monday night, we are going to be having some people from Copper Fiddle on. It's going to be Andrew Macker, who is basically in charge of the distillery at this point. We are also going to be... Hold on a second. Geez, sorry, getting texts from the family. That's not good at this hour. That's great. Rob Scarmella is also going to be on as well, too. He is their head distiller. They kept him on when they came over. And not only that, sorry, I have stuff all over the place. We're also having the original owner of the distillery on as well, too. It's pretty amazing. Not 1, not 2, but 3 people. It's going to be a really, really fun night for just seeing the whole arc of the way Copper Fiddle has gone to where it is now and to where they're going in the future. We have one of their ryes and their bourbons. The rye is a 9-month-year-old rye. and I had a little taste of it. I don't know if Mike or Ben has yet.
Nope.
I like some of the notes in it, and it has one or two notes that I think would happen in a 9 month whiskey or something a little bit younger. But it's one of those things like I was just talking about with Three Boys is I want to see what happens at the year and a half, 2 year, where a lot of rye whiskeys actually come out at from a distillery. And I think it's going to be pretty damn good at that point. I think it kind of like when we were talking about Driftless Glen at one point where they had the young rye at 16 months and then they were getting to the 2 year a little bit further. I think once it starts hitting that, it is really going to catch pace. Even I think at 16 months, I think it could be really doing some amazing stuff once it gets there. So I'm excited about that. So they'll be in on Monday night. So stop in for that show. And
it's 9 month old, Emily. 9 months.
9
Not
months?
9 years.
Yeah, 9 months is what that one is. What? Oh God. My favorite film. I'm 5'9". So when you're trying to bring up other stuff, you get lost in all the other options. And I don't always keep up on the chat as much as I should. So thank you everyone in the chat for sticking with us. We really appreciate it. And look forward to what we got coming on Monday. And then we'll let you know when the Old Crow one is, because that's going to be one you're going to want to stop by and listen to. It's going to have a wonderful story, and it's a fantastic. You're going to want to go out there. I don't know how you don't make that a stop.
Yeah.
Especially with as easy it is to find some older Old Crow on secondary or on some markets or even out in the store. It is not horribly tough to find, and just being able to try some stuff and go to Glens Creek and buy that and then do a little tasting of your own because they reused the yeast from the original Old Crow distillery.
Old Crow in its prime, when Old Crow
was
the stuff
before it was bought out by Suntory Bean.
Yeah, so it really makes you think what could be, and then you see what they're doing with it. It's definitely a place to stop at if you're headed out there. Some people make joke about Old Crow, but I think it's worth what it is there, and then you can see what it once was in Glens Creek, and for the age on some of that too. It's damn good. It's damn good.
And being in the location, the vicinity to like Castle and Key and Woodford and all that, I think it's an easy distillery to just overlook and not realize it's even there. And that turned out to be one of the highlight stops for me
100%.
in that whole tour.
Yep.
So just not just the experience of drinking the old Crow on the grounds, but experiencing what they are distilling and what they're making there. It's a fantastic lineup. So
yes,
I can't wait to dig into that one too. So
also just remember May 10th, we're going to be having Hunter Coffey on. We talked about this great whiskey. If you get a chance to find some Three Boys, definitely do it. I was going to say they're going to be branching out, but stop in on May 10th because we'll be talking to him and all the neat stuff that they're doing there and where they're kind of aiming to be at in the near future. I like the fact that he got the infusion he needed to take the steps he wanted to take, because sometimes that's the difference in having a great craft distiller stay alive or a distillery stay alive, is making a step like that to be like, well, we need to do this to bump it up a level and to be daring enough to take the step, because sometimes losing some control or having to take on an extra a couple $100,000 or $1 million of debt depending upon what you're trying to do is that's a big thing in reality. Some people play around with money, but I don't. I couldn't imagine being a loan officer. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't be okay with it. I'm like, what do you need this for? And it's like, no, you don't get that much. So Thank you, everyone, for stopping in tonight. We will see you on Monday evening. Remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.